We got a final from the Barclays, the Brooklyn Nets, 115-108. It's a winner as they cement themselves into the 7th seed, and a meeting with the Celtics awaiting on Saturday. Should be a great series. But as for this one, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant leading the way, the dynamic duo combining for 59 points on 31 shots. 12 of 15 for Kai, 34 points, 9 of 16 for Durant, 25 points. 12 helpers for Kyrie, 11 for Durant. They started, they finished, and now they're headed to a matchup with the Celtics. Breaking it down with CBS NBA insider Bill Reiter. Bill, we saw some good, we saw some bad, and we saw a team that will now face the Celtics. We'll get to it all over the next couple of minutes, but in terms of what you observed in this matchup with Cleveland, really it was those two that we assumed would play a big role in this one, living up to that role.
Too much Kevin Durant, way too much Kyrie Irving, over 30 points, incredibly efficient, didn't take a lot of shots, had I think 12 assists, and got help from some guys on that team. Some of those role players knew what they had to do. Give Cleveland credit. They actually put up a lot of fight. It was a nice comeback. Really good game from Kevin Love. Darius Garland was awesome. We talked about him before the match, before the game. The reality is, and this is the truth for the Nets, if they can be their best version themselves, too much talent, too much offense, too much KD and Kyrie.
And specifically, the best version of Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie's been getting right around that 30-point mark, but it's been taking him 26 shots, 27 shots over the last couple weeks of the season. To see him this efficient, how different does this project this Brooklyn team? I know it's a one-off here, and they're facing a much taller task against the Celtics, but this Kyrie Irving, how unstoppable?
I mean, if he can do anything that even approximates this, they become the team they were supposed to be, which is the favorite or one of the favorites in the NBA to win the whole thing. And not just because Kyrie at this level and this level of efficiency and excellence makes Kyrie better, it makes everybody around him better. You saw so many easy buckets at the end of the game because so many of those Cavs defenders were trying to double team Kyrie while keep an eye on KD. And there's easy buckets for Bowen. There's easy buckets for Andre Drummond. It was a hell of a game by the Brooklyn. I'm not sure I believe they can do that 16 times or even 4 times, but they certainly did it against Cleveland.
Now, there is also the Ben Simmons storyline looming, but we will cross that bridge if we do ever get there. Talk to me about the Nets' defense. I know you were taken back a little bit about the effort that they put forth on that end of the court.
The defense was really, the under hit too, I think, right? I mean, it came in at the under. And this is the thing that I know a lot of the folks around the NBA, and there aren't many of them, executives and scouts, who still will tell you they think the Nets are one of the 3 or 4 best teams. Their claim is they'll flip that switch, they'll play great D, they'll feed off the offense that KD and Kyrie create. And you saw it in this game. Darius Garland was awesome, and Kevin Love was a real spark as a veteran off the bench. But there was just too much effort, too much energy, too much athleticism from a Nets team that has not played this level of defense more than a handful of games this year.
Bill Reiter, we have been lied to. In the era of big threes, it will be dynamic duos going up against one another in this now Celtics-Nets 2 versus 7, Brown and Tatum, Irving and Durant. We are in store for what could be a thrilling 6-7 game series. How do you project these two teams against one another?
How unfair for the Boston Celtics,
right?
I think it's a coin flip. So the analytics are only a couple teams, only 4 teams in this century have won an NBA championship without being the top 10 in offensive and defensive rating. There are 5 teams that fit that this year. There are 2 in the East. One of them is the Boston Celtics. It's before you take in the fact they have the guy that'll be the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart, and absolute rising or maybe already superstars in Jason Tatum's case. All that should add up to you're going to win the first round series. But if the Nets play for 3 games the way they played against Cleveland, Brooklyn has a game 7 and anything can happen. So it depends what version of Kyrie shows up. But if the Brooklyn Nets we saw, and I'm not sure I believe in that level of consistency from this Brooklyn team, especially defensively, but if we see this version of Brooklyn, it is a very unfair reality for Boston, and the Nets could make a lot of people, myself included, look a little foolish.
Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Both Kyrie and KD with double digits assists in this play-in matchup. They are now set to take on the Celtics on Saturday. Let's take a look at what lies ahead. Taking a look at this matchup between 7 and 2. And that's just not a 7 seed. I'm sorry. One of the best in the world. He's got a heck of a Robin to his Batman as well. Celtics did win 3 of the 4 meetings with the Nets this year, but Kyrie did miss 3 games. KD did miss 2, and things are different when those 2 gentlemen share the court with one another.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.